My name is Kiki. I am a personal trainer. I'm a strength coach. I am a trainer's trainer. One of my passions is actually helping other trainers to understand how to work with the over-dieted population. So most of the things that I discuss are about metabolism and muscle and rebuilding your metabolism after years of over-dieting. I'm also an author and the co-founder of Eat More to Weigh Less. So most of the information that I am talking about here, you will also be able to find on the website at em2wl.com. So, like I said, right now we're just kind of going to go over a checklist of sorts. These are the bullets that I have written down for the blog post that I am doing if you're trying to figure out if fasting will work for you. Now, the reason why "you" is in all capital letters on this is because it is very individual. So you have to know going into it that just like with other types of diets and things like that, it's okay to try, but you have to go into it with a level of awareness, being willing to stop if it is not working for you. And that's what these signs are that we are going to discuss. So it's a lot to cover. If you have to hop off and hop back on, I understand. You can watch the replay later and just kind of hold the screen to fast forward through this part right now that I'm talking about. Okay, so bottom line, understand that one style of eating is not for everyone. So that includes intermittent fasting. So it really doesn't matter if everyone and their mama is like touting that this is the next best thing and this is the only way. You have to understand your own personal reactions to it so that you can know if it's for you. Now, does intermittent fasting work for lots of people? Sure. And because there are so many articles and magazines and everything, you know, it's like the new thing right now. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about the benefits of intermittent fasting because those are everywhere if you're looking. So I am going to play devil's advocate here and kind of give you some ways to know if it is not for you. So 2 days ago, we talked about metabolically, there's not really a big difference between eating 3 meals versus 6. If the makeup of the calories and macronutrients that you have at the end of the day is the same, and if you have a healthy metabolism. So right off the bat, if you are someone who is, you're a beginner or you're extremely overweight, or many women do not tend to fare as well with intermittent fasting. So that's bottom line. If you just needed to like get the gist of this and jump off, that's it. And so I'm going to give you the signs of understanding if that is happening for you. So like I said, it's okay to try, but look for these signs. Okay, so one of the things that you'll note right away is, are you having dizzy spells? Are you fatigued? Are you like starving, like uncontrollable all day hunger starving? Some of these things are looked at as just regular parts of intermittent fasting or even diets for that point. Like most of these tips that I'm giving you, they will apply to any diet. But for the purpose of this scope, we are talking specifically about fasting. So if you're fasting and you find that you're like feeling dizzy throughout parts of the day, you're moody, like I said, with any diet, when you're super, super low on calories, you have to pay attention to those things, because what we talked about a couple of days ago is the fact that your hunger, your energy, your cravings, whether you're binging and things like that, those are all cues to something hormonal that's happening. So it's not wise to just ignore them. Dieting, our old diet mentality told us to just kind of stifle those hunger cues and to ignore when we're really hungry and to just fight through those feelings or push harder even though you're tired. Those are all cues that the style of eating isn't working for you hormonally. Something is happening hormonally, and ignoring these signs is what tends to lead to a lot of adrenal fatigue, hypothyroid issues. And the reason why I know this is because even though there's tons of, like I say, books and magazines and articles of all these people who are having success with intermittent fasting, I get a lot of the people who don't, and that is why. So, and they tend to think that it's just them. So it's something that's not talked about. So a lot of times I call myself the last resort trainer, and that's why, because I tend to get the people who think something is wrong with them. And if these things are happening to you, there's not something wrong with you. So if you are dizzy, if you are moody or irritable, if you have uncontrollable hunger, cravings all day long, like not just like I'm kind of hungry, but then I drank some water and it went away type thing, but you're like really feeling like you're starving all day. If you are feeling weak, especially in your workouts. So I talked about feeling fatigued, but if you're in your workouts and you notice that you're really, really tired, not just like kind of like I don't really feel like doing this, but as you get going, the endorphins kick in and you start feeling better. We're talking about you are feeling like you're getting weaker in your workouts. You are weights that you were able to do before, suddenly you're not able to do anymore. So if your endurance or strength is decreasing in your workouts, then you need to check the style of eating that you're having. Like I said, that applies to any diet, but specifically if you're fasting and you're noticing that in your workouts, then that's something to troubleshoot, because there are parts of like the original versions of the intermittent fasting that a lot of people tend to miss, and that's that intermittent fasters are supposed to work out less. So if you're the type of person that's working out a lot and you're noticing that you have no energy, or you're like a group instructor and you're trying to fast, you're going to notice that you probably need more food and that you may do better when you have some food in your system already. So for those of you who are just joining, we're going through the checklist of knowing whether or not intermittent fasting is working for you. We're not necessarily talking about the benefits of intermittent fasting in the scope. There's a lot of that out there. We're talking about being able to go into this style of eating with the intention and the awareness of knowing if it's working for you. So we've talked about making sure you don't feel dizzy or moody, irritable, hungry all day long, like uncontrollable hunger, you can't really contain it, getting weaker in your workouts. If your strength or endurance is decreasing, that is a sign that maybe you need to switch up the way that you're eating or the time of day that you're working out. If you are losing sleep, if you can't, what is intermittent fasting? It is, well, I'm actually kind of happy that you haven't heard of it, but intermittent fasting it's kind of a new way, but it's not new. It's pretty much, it's fasting for weight loss. There are different ways to do it. Sometimes where you have an eating window that's maybe 8 hours or 12 hours or something like that. Different styles do it different ways. There's like lean gains, or there's like alternate day fasting, where every other day, I see my puppies trying to get in on the action here, where you're fasting every other day or something like that. So that's what intermittent fasting is. It's periods of going without food, long periods of time, and then having an eating window where you eat all of your food. And it's being really highly touted for weight loss right now, and just as fasting kind of always has. So it's something that if you haven't heard about it already, you will hear about it in the future. So these are some of the things that if you tend to go into that and you want to try it, then you can go through this checklist. Like I said, again, it's going to end up on the website too, but we're just going through it today. So that is a good question. Okay, so if you are losing sleep, if you can't sleep at night, you may be eating either too much right before bed, or if there's something hormonally going on because of the fact that you're fasting, it's just another sign. So make sure that you're checking. If you're checking off a lot of things on this list, they aren't coincidental. It's that you aren't eating enough per day. So maybe skipping breakfast or skipping breakfast and lunch is not for you, even if someone else is getting great results doing it.